Hello, it's Phillip Taylor from Richmond Green Chambers speaking. I'm talking about a book, this book in fact, Successful Interviewing and Recruitment by Dr Rob Yeung. It's a collaboration with the Sunday Times Creating Success series and Kogan page. It's only a small book, simple book, but it's actually very, very effective in my view. Now, what I have done is I've actually posted up on the internet and had published in a number of journals a number of reviews about this book. And the reviews generally have the title, How to Interview Well, or How to Be Interviewed Well. So it's looking at it from the point of view of the interviewer and the interviewee. The question I really had when I read this book, because I've been a manager as well as a barrister, is how often have you been to an interview only to find that it's a training session for the interviewer? It happens quite frequently, unfortunately, and it's a bit of a problem. Remember, the type of work I do as a barrister at law means that I've got to be able to interview clients well, and I've also got to be able to examine and cross-examine witnesses, so it's an important gift to have. It is a gift in part, but it's also something you can get from experience, and this book has the experience you need. The interviewing game is actually quite a problem area for many people. It's highly important, and in fact a lot of it is about preparation. What Rob Yeung does with this book is he comes to the rescue of inexperienced people with some very helpful suggestions and many proven techniques which he identifies and highlights. And obviously many of the organisations you might be approaching, especially in this time of economic downturn, will be aware of the type of training that's available, and they'll be looking for a polished performance from you if you're actually going for that particular job. Some of the subheads I used for this book were interviews, what a load of rubbish, because in fact the quality of the interviewer quite often is bad. Obviously quite a lot of criticism has been levelled at what we used to call personnel managers, or human resource personnel as they're now known. But it's refreshing in this book to find that Dr Yeung has actually looked at what can be a painful experience for most people, being either an interviewer or an interviewee, and he's actually been able to identify good areas of assistance for all, because clearly finding the right person and ensuring that the right buttons are all pressed is as difficult as anything else. Obviously a lot of people feel that getting that job is about luck. Well, luck does come in, but in fact it's the wrong approach, because you must be fully prepared. You've also got to be prepared, of course, for all the little wobblies that happen, being sent to the wrong room, being one-upped a little bit about timing, all sorts of little things that happen, so do beware. Now in the book there are 14 chapters, and they cover a whole range of issues, from why learn to interview properly, how to structure an interview, developing the sort of questioning skills you need, very important in my line of business, the preparation, the opening of an interview, discussing money, bringing the interview to a conclusion, rating candidates, and various other little factors like final words at the end. He has something which is referred to in the book as the funneling and stars technique, which is worth looking at in fact, because clearly most people will only have previous interviews to think about when it comes to the next interview that's going to be hopefully the one that will get them the job they're looking for. There is this STARS acronym which Dr Yeung uses, which I think is quite useful, and in fact a lot of employers use it. That is situation, task, actions, result, summarise. And it's quite important for two reasons. One, as an interviewee, you want it to be a two-way interview so you can exchange views and see whether you like them. As an interviewer, you've also got to bear a number of factors in mind, because you've got to think about the structure of the interview. Now, one of the problems I've come across has been the appalling lack of structure with any interview. Now, I say that having cross-examined many people, and sometimes I'm at a loss to know what questions to ask. I always prepare a number, but quite often with the evidence that's being given, I'll look at it and think, well, what questions can I ask? And then suddenly you have that ping, and you then get in and launch, and you're there. Now, of course, that is always actually part of the breaking the ice, if you like, at the beginning of any form of interview, when people are wary of other people. The thing is, you've got to come up to proof, as we say, when it comes to the interview, so you've got to avoid poor questioning. Remember one other factor which I think is very important, and that is you can always do better with an interview than you think. So I came away from Rob's book glad to have read something that confirmed a lot about what I thought of my techniques. Obviously there are good ways and there are bad ways of doing things. He's right to say that interviewing is a skill, but it's also one which can be meticulously learnt with the proper preparation and care, which Yeung sets out in a most useful series of chapters. The step-by-step guide by the Sunday Times, the Creating Success series, is actually something I do welcome. I think it's an important management tool for all. Yeung gives you the best current contemporary analysis of how to interview and recruit in the internet age when it comes to employment finding. It's going to be crucial probably for a decade to get this right. There's not much training, frankly, in the schools and in the colleges, but this book helps. It's well worth getting, and as I said at the beginning, it tells you how to interview successfully and how to be interviewed successfully. So in the words of all those who are encouraging you to go to interview, go for it. Thank you very much.